I just started doing triceps pushdowns again recently, and I've run into a problem. As I get even close to my working weights, it becomes more of an abdominal core challenge to keep myself in position as it is a triceps exercise. You might have experienced this in the past as well. It's not that uncommon, with some people even experiencing significant soreness in their abs after training triceps, and other people finding it hard to even stay anchored down on the ground when they're very, very strong. Now, there's a solution that I've used on and off over the years, which is adding a weight belt to hold yourself down. It works incredibly well, especially if you're close to the strength standards as set by Alex Leonidas.
One of the best standards is 50% of your body weight for sets of 10.
But I had a feeling that if I shared the weight belt tip, there'd be some people commenting and complaining about having to get a weight belt just for pushdowns. So I sat here and I thought to myself, what other solutions can I think of that are more accessible to most people? Because many commercial gyms don't have a communal weight belt. I mean, even this one here, I only got it about 2 months ago. It's not exactly a gym bag staple for most people. But most commercial gyms have plenty of bands available. It's not perfect, nor is it an exact replacement for the weight belt, but it works surprisingly well. Having the band pulls you into abdominal flexion, which directly assists you against the abdominal extension from the weight stack. I wasn't sure if I was just placeboing myself, so I had a few other people test it out as well.
Locked in, hey?
Locked in.
Fucking weird.
How'd you figure this out?
Bruh.
Yeah.
Ooh, I already feel compressed.
I mean, it may just be a straightening at this point, but...
That's not placebo.
And then I finally shared it, and a lot of you guys loved it, but not all of you. So now we're gonna go through and respond to every single one of these comments. This is hilariously ridiculous, LOL. No one who's actually jacked or got jacked has ever used this in history. These tips need to stop. If you didn't recognize him before, that's 6 times Mr. Olympia Dorian Yates using a weight belt to help stabilize himself. Again, this is slightly different, as the band doesn't pull my entire body to the ground, but it does pull me into flexion, which works against that extension force from the heavy weight on pushdowns. It might not be as effective, but the principle is the same. Use a tool that helps you target the muscles you want more effectively, and the band accommodates for many people who might not have or want to use a belt. Optimal bros love the gimmicks. You, sir, are no Dorian Yates. He was 300 pounds, strapping weights to the machine and working in 6 to 8 reps. No average lifter needs this. This is why you can't win on social media, because one person is implying that exercises are only valid if someone jacked has used them, but another person is saying that if I do something a jacked person's doing, it's bullshit because you are not them. And no average lifter needs this. First of all, being heavier overall decreases the likelihood that you'll need to use this method. It's only when you have relatively strong triceps to your body weight that you'll have this issue. And let me be clear, I'm a very average lifter. I'm not super strong or large or jacked, but I have a very particular set of skills. In this case, triceps extension strength, which is really not that impressive or helpful in the real world. But I can lift enough weight on a triceps extension where it becomes a challenge to hold myself in place using a 3 to 4 second lowering phase and a 2 second pause for anywhere between 6 to 15 reps. Even if you're not there, I know for sure many of you would have experienced the same issue of your abs working overtime just to hold you in place on pushdowns. And this is where a band or a weight belt can be helpful. Missing out of the abdominal gains by doing that. So a very basic principle of bodybuilding specific training is to use exercises or setups where the target muscle is the one that fatigues first. And ideally one that minimizes fatigue elsewhere. It's the same reason why we have leg pads on a lat pull down to hold you in place, or why you use chest supports on different machine or dumbbell rows, or use a lying leg curl instead of a standing cable leg curl. Counterforce and stability means more stimulus where you want it and less fatigue elsewhere. And I guarantee that these very same people would not bat an eyelid at the thought of using some kind of supported, stable triceps extension machine, even though that removes all the abdominal challenge as well. Overkill, just do a close grip bench press. Now the problem with these exercises is that they aren't as effective for the long head of the triceps, which makes up a huge chunk of your arm, because that head goes across your shoulder joint. And when you bend the elbow, you do stretch out your triceps, but when you extend the shoulder as well as you lower on dips or bench presses, it shortens the muscle from the other end. So the net result is only a minor change in muscle length. It's still working, but not as much as it would in exercises where the upper arm stays fixed and the elbow just extends. Stop overcomplicated things. All right, so my question to you is is this really overcomplicated? Because we're taking a very simple exercise and we're making it more stable to allow you to continue to challenge yourself to push with really good technique to get more out of it. Now, this is definitely not for everybody, and I wouldn't recommend it to, say, a beginner because it probably is overkill. But if you're experiencing this issue on pushdowns, which a lot of people do, what's the problem? And here's another question for you. What makes something overcomplicated? Because a lat pull down was invented long after we had pull-ups. Is that an overcomplicated solution to the problem of how to train your back when we already have a perfectly good option in pull-ups? Maybe not, but then what about machines? Are these overcomplicated? Because somebody had to come along, design and engineer the machines that you'll find in most commercial gyms. You never see people throwing shade at machine exercises by calling them overcomplicated when they're probably some of the most complicated exercises out there, especially when you consider the fact that they're not made for you personally, and you have to go through a series of customizations to set it up for your individual structure. Bit of a side tangent, but you know what's really complicated is using steroids to enhance your physique. You don't see me coming up to somebody saying, hey, just keep it simple, bro, just lift weights and eat protein and skip the trend, because you need to now worry about managing side effects like estrogen or prolactin or testosterone or your hairline, because that shit is so much more complicated than the simple use of counterforce in the gym to get more out of your workouts. The fact is, some of what I share or what other content creators will share won't be useful for you, and that's totally fine. Working out is just about solving problems, and the problem is surprisingly simple. Just how can you find a way to challenge your body effectively and recover from it? As Mike Israel puts it, how can you maximize stimulus and minimize fatigue? There are so many solutions to that problem. Some of them are going to be fantastic for you. Some of them are going to be useless, some of them are going to be redundant, some of them are going to be plain dumb. But I see so much unnecessary hate being thrown at things, labeling them as overcomplicated, when if you start thinking about it for just a moment, you realize just how simple they really are. If you've made it this far, you clearly care about working out and want to do this for a long time. And hopefully you enjoy thinking about things a little bit more analytically and critically, and I urge you to continue doing that. And if this tip helped you with the triceps pushdowns, fantastic. If not, either way, I hope you have a great day.